Hey, what's up, good people? It is the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur and Smith.
Hey.
Smith and Shakur here checking in with you guys on another Wednesday. We are a podcast about history, politics, and race, and we cover current affairs. And we've been talking about COVID lately. I'm a film director and love all of the above. And Smith here is a veteran of the Army Reserves, and he currently works for the VA. If I'm mistaken, right, Smith?
You have it correct. I'm a government employee.
Yes, all right, cool. You're joining us for the first time, guys. We just like to keep it truthful and factual. We always say we're not pro any race, even though we're both African American. We just like to keep it pro truth. If the truth offends you, we're sorry, not sorry.
Not sorry.
Exactly. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube channel, ISENT Group Digital. And thank you for listening where you get your podcasts. We are available everywhere. And when I say everywhere, we are available everywhere.
Yes, we are.
So thank you to all those streaming platforms as well. Thanks for checking in, Crispy. Let me pull out my HPR Chronicles notes and see what I'd like to discuss. I don't know what you have on your list, but we're going to cover current affairs again. And before you say that real quick, Smith, guys, we are going to get back to some topics soon here as well. So bear with us. We will be bringing you guys a show soon on a specific topic, So yeah, that's all I want to say. Go ahead, Smith.
Oh, no. Where do you want to start?
Oh, man, let's talk about the big news about
big news would be the VP.
Right, yeah, Biden picking Kamala Harris as his running mate. I think that was smart. I think it was timely. I think it's historic. And just like I told my creative director, Sione, Trump is in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And he's already making comments.
Oh, of course. And he's already making, false comments, spreading falsehoods already, which is his only strategy is to lie. That's all he can do. He has no strategy. His strategy is just to lie and divide. And, I don't think folks are gonna fall for that. And I think he's going to be, one of the first one-term presidents in a while. I forgot who the last one was. I know it's been a while since we had a one-termer.
Wasn't it Bush Senior after Reagan?
Maybe I can't remember.
I think he was only on one term.
Oh yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it's been a minute.
Then before that would have been. So before Reagan was Carter. So I think Carter.
Okay.
Yep.
It's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute, yeah. But what I would say is, it was. I like the pick of Kamala Harris. I've read some. Of course, you're going to have people thinking and going with different things. They're going to start definitely revisiting when she was a nominee. Some of the things that she did when she was Attorney General, but I like it. So.
None of that stuff is going to work. Yeah, they're going to try and tear her down with all the past crap, but it's not going to work.
And what's interesting is one of the first things Trump, I guess, he was in an interview on Fox Sport News, and basically, he's like, men are going to be insulted that Joe Biden's decision was to promise to select a woman as a running mate. First, that's a very interesting statement. You would think a lot of women would get upset about that. So we'll see if that has any bearing, which I doubt it, for the true followers of him. But then what's nice to know is she's half African-American and half Indian, which would also fall under Asian. So, she would be the first female and Black and Asian VP. So
wow, yeah, that's awesome, man. Let's see. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna comment like because Layla, she can look up to someone like that. Because
exactly. Almost the same mix. So is she? Oh, so she's African American, Indian, and Asian.
No, India is considered part of Asia.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, that
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. One day I was with some friend of mine, and they were talking, and she was saying how she was Asian, and I'm looking, going, I gotta ask because I'm not sure what I'm.
What makes
and then she broke it out. It's part of the Asiatic the continent or whatever.
Yeah,
and so
I never knew that.
That one's a really like within the last 5 years that I heard that.
Right. Right. So besides the geographical location of India, what is she actually though? Is she
Indian?
Okay, so one of her parents are Indian, and then got you.
African American.
African American. I didn't know that. I thought one of her parents were white and African American. That's interesting.
Well, okay, let me just.
I could be wrong, but
no, here it goes. Harris, 55, is the daughter of Indian and Jamaican immigrants. So I don't know how that. I don't know. I just know that those are the things that they stated. So I don't know what her mother looks or what her father.
Right, I got you. Because what happened back then was a lot of Indians migrated to Trinidad, where I'm from, and Jamaica and all that for work and all that kind of stuff. So that's how the Indians got to those islands. Yeah, that makes sense. We have Indians in Jamaica and in Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people try to align with someone that looks like them, I would think that this would bring in the African American vote, the Asian vote, and some others, but that might help. Well,
it'll definitely help.
It'll make a difference, so.
Yeah, I kind of figured he was going to go that way. I went to pick my daughter up today, and on our way back, as we were exiting the freeways, when I heard it on the radio, I was super excited. And as soon as we came inside, I turned on CNN to see what was going on. And I think that that's an excellent move. And like I said, Trump is in trouble, because I do know that our people wasn't going to vote for Biden unless he picked an African-American running mate. Showed some people of color in there, Yeah,
I happened to turn on and I saw the news, and they were interviewing, oh man, I can't remember her name right now, but she was she was for Obama. Maybe she was the Attorney General. Anyway, she was being interviewed, and then I remember recalling that she was on the list.
Yeah,
so I thought she had won.
Susan Rice.
Yes, Susan Rice. Thank you. They were interviewing Susan Rice, and I thought that she had gotten it. And they were congratulating her, but then they were like, no. And, as she's talking, I was like, oh, that's very cool.
Right. It's funny, today I went and so anyway, just to close that out, congratulations to Kamala, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this whole race plays out, and, how we get Trump up out of there. I went and picked up my daughter today from school, so she had picked her up, and took her to school on the way back here to register and get her, not register, but to get her class schedule and do her new photo for her sophomore year and all that. And, I looked at her class schedule, and one of her classes this year is European history, and I told her, I was like, and I told her, I said, babe, it's interesting to me how they teach. I think we talked about this on one. I think it was your show one day. We talked about how they teach the wrong things, and I told her, I said, it's all good. I'm going to teach you African American history, and we even listened to some videos on the way home today, of some of the 10 lies or myths, about the African continent, and African people, and stuff like that. But just really tripped me out. And I'm looking at her school, and it's predominantly, Hispanic. African American. Yeah. I mean, there's Europeans there too, Caucasians there too. But come on, teach world history.
Right. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Like, you have a class, European history, and that's taught for the whole semester or whatever it is that they have.
Right.
But, you know, again, if we go back to most schools, the only time African American stuff is really brought up is during the month of February, and it's just that little bit. So it is kind of interesting how it's like that they consider that so much more, and that no one took any true time to invest in finding out the history and how it relates the African nation, you know, history and stuff like that. But
right. Yeah, I mean, it's, and I'm saying to myself, of course, they teach their history, and I'm sure it's skewed too. It's not honest. You know what I'm trying to say? I just thought it was interesting, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that and just tell these parents, you know, if they're teaching your kids European history, please teach them the real and what's really going on, like I'm doing with mine.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have her go to school learning European history. Is that as if that's the only history that actually matters?
Correct. Yeah.
You know, and who they are and what they identify with doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a valid point. Like I didn't even think about that until you brought it up, because you're right. Like when you would learn certain, like, and we go into details, and I don't know that, and no, I don't recall too much details of African, you know, maybe apartheid is talked about, but again, it's all done like in that Black History Month part. You know, it's very small, maybe a day or two, and then they move on.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy, man. One of the things I want to talk about is this Sturgis bike race. I mean, bike rally. You know, because I didn't. Yeah, in Sturgis, South Dakota, and it's funny because I didn't think that
the rally
they would have it this year, and I was shocked when I saw it, because I'm a motorcycle rider. I am a proud motorcycle license holder, because it's something that you get for a lifetime once you get it, and it's not easy to get the test and all that. So I'm proud to say that I'm an M license holder. So Sturgis is one of those things that I've always looked at, and it said I'd want to visit sometime in the future, because I'm into bikes. You know what I'm trying to say? And I know it's predominantly white and stuff like that. But I've like seen a few brothers.
This brother's been I've seen pictures and stuff.
Right, and you know, and I've always wanted to. It's something that I've always wanted to experience, and I had completely forgotten about it. And if it was going to go on, I'm not thinking in a million years they're going to have Sturgis this year. I mean, if they're going to have Sturgis, they might as well have all the NFL games, all the basketball games, all the baseball, the crowds of the baseball games, the crowded F1 motor. You know what I'm saying?
NASCAR was still going on though.
Right, the crowded but they didn't have a crowd, right? Or was it? I know MotoGP and F1, there's no crowd. It's just like how basketball and baseball and football are doing it. You know, they cancel all the college, the Big Ten.
But that Sturgis is a different thing. It's not like I know it's an organized event, but
my whole point is the mass of people that are going to be there, shoulder to shoulder for 10 days straight, over 250,000. You know, more than any one single stadium, or you know what I mean. The new stadium they built in LA holds 100,000. But you know, the average football stadium holds how many?
Yeah, you're right. But I guess what I'm thinking is, I just think that the group that would go because they don't care, and they're fighting back to, you know, say that there's nothing wrong. We can be here together. And maybe they tried to do some social distancing.
No, have you seen some of the video? And
I saw a friend of mine, just a guy from high school. He posted pictures, and that didn't look really bad. The pictures he posted, but he could have avoided other stuff. Or maybe, you know, they just took pictures when it was opportune. I don't know, but was there a lot of bikes? And if they all came out or were in sections, I could see definitely.
And masks were optional, you know.
Well, you know what's interesting is even I also saw a clip where the governor of South Dakota was bragging at how well they've done with keeping their numbers low.
Yeah.
And one of the comments was like, well, let's see what happens in a month now that, they had the rally, and see if they were able. And I do get that they're pretty stretched out, like getting, it's very rural. And so, some places may not have to be as locked down or as concerned if their numbers are low. Yeah. However, as we've always said, masks work. So why not just wear it when you're in certain situations? I mean, if you're with friends, I guess you just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And they're calling it another one of those super spreader events.
And people come from all over. So the scary
part
all
over. That's what I'm saying.
Going back. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be interesting to see. Another thing I wanted to touch on was how the schools in Georgia opened up. Did you see that? And those kids ended up.
And the kid got suspended, but then it got
like 6 or 7 kids ended up getting COVID or whatever, and they had to shut the school down.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's like, and I'm not laughing in a cynical way. I just think it's interesting that more progressive states like California are like, hey, we're going to follow the science. We're going to keep the kids out of school for now. Like I went online today, and Layla, I mean, it was literally a drive-through system we have to go through today to get her schedule and all that.
Yeah.
Georgia goes, we're putting kids back in school. And sure enough, it backfired instantly. And they had to shut the school down. Which, had they just listened.
Yeah. Because if we, the idea of making and forcing, because at least go the first semester, see how that goes through, quarter, however they're set up, and then see if it works, and if the numbers are going down, and if not, if they are, maybe you can implement something like we talked in the past where you bring in, but just trying to just bum rush it, and it's all politics, which is more scary. It's not really about the kids. It's all politics.
Or the science. It's all politics.
Well, yeah. Well, they're trying to buck the science because the science is saying one thing, and it's like, only in a weird way. It seems sometimes it goes, science is Democrats and progressive and liberal.
Right.
We can't deal with that. Like, no, science is just science.
Science is science. Science has no political. Science is bipartisan. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. That was interesting. I'm glad, the school that my daughter goes to, they actually decided to keep them out of school for now, just until we get this handled. And my daughter was asking me today, like, Dad, do you think we're going to go back in next year? And I said, yeah, for your junior year, they'll probably be, I think they'll have this by then under control.
Yeah.
She goes, no, I mean like next year for this school year. I said, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, hopefully.
I do hope that
they could go back
through.
Maybe after the winter. Maybe after the winter.
Like
after
go back,
Easter, like the spring.
Like
after spring break.
Yep.
After spring break for the last semester.
And just to I interrupt you, but sorry, just wanted to add that my son is doing the same thing. His school is online too. So Wisconsin is at least Wanakee, I think he's in, or Madison. I think Wanakee. They put them in Wanakee in online. So I'm happy for that, because sometimes Wisconsin now, it makes me nervous of how they've been doing things. So.
Right. Now is your son okay with doing online? Because some kids are having trouble with online. They just learn better in the class.
He would be better in the class, but I think he's also, over time, we've had him in like extra classes or tutors and stuff like that. So I think he's better than where he was. So if it would have been him 6, 7, that I would be nervous about. Because then it would be more on his mother and I to help him be prepared. So, but he, his mother works from home. So if he has questions or if there's issues, and she's very, very smart, so she'll be able to help him. And if not, then she'll do like what we've done in the past, and she'll find someone to give them some extra session, some studies outside of class time.
Right. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing it the right way and not making it political. Just switching gears real quick, man. I was listening to Representative Karen Bass on the Breakfast Club, and she mentioned something that I had no idea of, which is interesting. All 54 African countries went to the United Nations and complained about racism in the USA after George Floyd, which is interesting. All 54 African countries went to the United Nations and complained about racism against African Americans in the USA.
Oh, the United States. Oh, wow.
Which is interesting. Every single country went.
Damn.
Which, you know what I mean? So when people say, like,
there's no solidarity.
Yeah, they look at them as separate from us because we came here through slavery and they was there and they went through colonization, blah, blah. But all 54 countries went and like stood up for the...
I'm just gonna say devil's advocate and say because the information that those ideas came from, like through my mother, my aunts, and stuff like that, and they've met and have dated guys from Africa and stuff like that, and it's still something my aunt repeated not that long ago. So not that it's necessarily true, but it's just you get your information sometimes from something a family member has said. And stuff like that. That's all.
Yeah. I've always heard that too, but I think in recent years, I don't know if you hear about all these trips to Ghana, everybody does every year now, and so I know stuff is different now.
Yes, that's what I was going to definitely agree with.
I think maybe years ago, but I think with the help of social media and the advent of, Facebook and Instagram, and I think all that stuff helped bridge some of those gaps, just like it bridged the gap with me and my siblings that I haven't met yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
They're a world away. So I think, because, if you look on YouTube, there's tons of people even now that live in Nigeria and live in Ghana and move there for good from the United States. And you can look it up, like why I decided to move to Africa. And, as you know, Akon is building a whole city there now. And he did electricity there and, the whole nine. So yeah, man, I'm glad. My whole point is, I'm glad I heard her mention this because I think it's awesome that there's some unity coming about and maybe some positive change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was one of the things on my list.
And that's my other thought was that maybe things have just kind of changed with how people's views over time have, and like you said, more information is being shared, whether it was at the time, maybe MySpace or, Facebook being out now and Instagram, and you can see more things and realize that what you thought those countries were like is not true. And stuff like that. So I think there's just a little bit. I agree. There's a little bit more respect across both sides.
Right. Exactly. And that's awesome, man. And if it wasn't for this COVID thing, I would have gone to Nigeria this year for a fact. Yeah. So it's all good. I'll get there next year. And we got to talk about what you want to do for your birthday too, if anything.
Yeah, I've been thinking. Hey, and then let's real quick back to the COVID is I don't know if you heard, Russia approved a coronavirus vaccine.
I saw that today. Do you believe it? I want to ask your opinion about that.
What is it? Putin said that one of his daughters took it, and I guess it's good for 2 years. It's not mandatory, but there is a ranking of how you can get it. Do I believe it? I believe that they are probably injecting something. I just don't. Like, I read that they skipped phase 3 of the testing stage, the late stage clinical testing. And, the one thing I wonder about is if this is true, and let's say it somewhat seems to be working, would, the person in the office right now try and push out something just to make himself happy. But what I've read is the pharmaceutical companies are, and the scientists and the doctors that are working with them are not trying to rush anything. So they're taking everything, the required steps, not just taking, they're going through the whole thing, and they want to complete every stage before pushing it to the next. So.
Right. Well, either way, here or Russia, I'm not taking it. I'm not touching none of that stuff. Just like they said on Bill Maher, the best prevention is eating clean and exercising and keeping yourself healthy. Not messing with no chemicals, man. First trials too. Just like I've never taken the flu vaccine.
Well, I'm not disagreeing about avoiding the first trials and all the other stuff, but I mean, like certain things were taken care of in the past, like measles, mumps, chickenpox.
I agree.
Well, not chickenpox, but measles and mumps, and you get a shot, and your kid never gets it. And then all of a sudden, people didn't want to have vaccines, and now those things have come back. That's the only thing that makes me nervous. Is there's a way to keep it gone, and not lose a life over something that simple.
Right.
It'd be nice.
Right. Well, I would say this is different in the respect that, first of all, even now it's not fatal. Most people that get don't even die. So why just like the flu, people die from the flu every year, and most people don't take the flu vaccine. Mm-hmm. So with this, most people that get it don't even die. So why am I gonna put something in my body that the mortality rate is only point whatever percent they say? Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good
point. If it was like fatal, crispy and morbid, and everybody's gonna get this. If you get it, you're gonna whole different story. I'll take it hands down.
It'd be interesting to know is if you take it, and let's say you find you have symptoms, and you go to the hospital, and they're able to inject, give it to you, and it clears you up, and you can, in a few days you're out. That's not a bad idea. That's the time I would take it or have to take it. But I'm on the fence on when I would take it. And it just all depends on how badly things change. But I do hear you. The way things are right now, I probably would not be taking it anytime soon. So I'm sorry. I'll pass on that. Everyone else who wants to be the guinea pig, I'll let them be the guinea pig on it, man. What else we have here? I wanted to talk about how New York. Remember how I was saying, like, how do they set up? How do they know where you are and stuff like that when you come to a certain state or city and they say, "Oh, well, our cases are low. We don't want people from the South coming to New York." Well, New York, they set up checkpoints and they make people fill out contact forms. And if you get caught, you get like a $2,000 fine. So New York has a system set up where they're checking the inflow of people from other states and countries and stuff. Gotcha. They have a system set up because their cases are so low, they don't want to respike. So they literally have you fill out a contact form, and they're checking some kind of way. See, now again, there you go. Like someone came up with a good plan on trying to keep the stuff low. That could have been done on a national level,
right?
And at nowhere point, and we still don't have a national plan, which is scary, and crazy. Anyway,
and some countries have wristbands. When you get there, they give you a wristband, electronic wristband.
Oh,
you can look it up when we end the show. But I forgot what country it was, but I made a note of it, and I just forgot the countries that are doing it. You fly in, they give you a wristband, and I guess they probably set it to where you're staying, and if you leave over certain times, it beeps, and they come in. You know what I mean? Listen, if you're one of those countries that mitigated and you're low, I don't blame you for wanting to keep the virus out of your country.
Yeah.
You should have the right to keep the virus out of your country. It affects too many people. It affects economies. It affects livelihoods. So I don't blame them for having these contact forms set up, and these wristbands and stuff like that. These monitors, these wristband monitors to monitor people that's coming into their towns and cities and states and stuff.
And they don't know if they're sick or not.
And they don't know. They have no idea,
And just to go back real quick to Sturgis, I was almost what I meant to say is obviously a lot of places have been hit with COVID happening and limiting of business hours or the business themselves having to be outside. This, I think there was another reason why it went on is obviously all the money that was coming into that city. Because I'm sure they always were prepared to make probably millions of dollars over the weekend, over those days. So,
right.
You know, for their economy, they wanted to probably definitely have it. However, we'll see if it affects the economy in the long run, if they have to close up or anything like that. So.
Right. Exactly. There it is, man. I think that's our show. You have anything else you wanted to add?
I do have a couple more things to add.
Okay, cool.
I was reading something that talked about those neck gaiters that people wear, where you put it over your whole head, and then you can bring it up over your face or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's one of the weakest forms of mask out.
Oh, those big ski mask things?
Yeah, where it's just a real thin and it just covers your. And a lot of people love to wear them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the ones that kind of tie you up and they're like
they just go over your whole neck, and then you can bring it up.
Right. And it's I know what you're talking about.
It's one whole piece that's got that's the most. It's so thin.
It's not like the face mask one that goes around your ears and
correct.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ones anything that's a single cloth. Mm-hmm. And very thin. It's some protection, but it's not a lot of protection. And in some ways, they said that if it's as you're talking, it could make the droplets disperse and become smaller, and then therefore they could hang in the air longer. So one thing, I just want to say, just like anyone listening, if you can avoid those, that might be good. If but it's better than nothing, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I do see
people using those too.
I see a lot of people using them. Mm-hmm. So I remember I thought about trying to buy one. And then I don't know if you heard or read, I wasn't working yesterday, and I was getting a bunch of like phone calls and text messages, and my phone was going off because I still am connected with the hospital, the VA back in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And they had curfew. They had one of the clinics closed because people were had protested over a shooting that happened in Gold Coast area in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It was a gentleman, and they say that he fired at them, so the police fired back. He was not killed, and yes, he is African American, but there's no body cams to prove that what the police said. So as soon as that happened, protests were organized, but people again looted and rioted downtown. Like they broke into a bunch of stuff, took like even taking clothes and cash registers were.
I heard in the Miracle Mile section or whatever.
The Magnificent Mile.
The Magnificent Mile section. I've never been to Chicago, but I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I saw some of the video too.
And the Magnificent Mile is where you tell people, you want to go to Chicago, you pretty much want to be safe.
Go there, it's safe.
You go there. Yeah. But not that this happened, they had something planned, and at night anything can happen, of course.
Right.
But I just, the idea that, again, you're supposed to have transparency. You've got these new special task groups that are going out policing, but they don't have any body cams to, back up what they are doing. And I don't know, even in California, there was some skateboard kids who were waiting for a bus. They were harassed by a homeless man, and they used, and then he pulled out, the statement from the witnesses was pulled out a knife. He tried to stab the kids. They used their skateboards to keep him away, and police showed up, like rifles pointed, and but anyway, that's my last bit.
Oh yeah, no, man, I'm glad you brought that up. And the thing that tripped me out about that was, I think the people there just use it as an excuse to go and loot and rob and stuff, because once again, as many African Americans are being killed in Chicago, no one bats an eye and robs and go and loots after that. One African American gets shot by an officer and survives, and all of a sudden everybody's upset. I want the same energy when 15 people are killed in one weekend by our own people. I want the same energy. march about that. Black Lives Matter then too. I don't understand. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well,
it's almost okay to cut each other down, but it's not okay if someone else cuts us down. To me, they both deserve the same amount of attention and the same energy.
Well, I'm going to say that there are communities in Chicago and I know across the nation that that groups will come together and make statements in their own community that are not going to be televised.
Okay, when all the shootings happen, you mean, and stuff?
I mean, well, yeah, because after the shootings, it's not like black African Americans in Chicago don't say anything. They're out there talking. They're
that's
out there
true too,
trying to stop people from doing it. They're trying to come up with different, whatever to fix the situations. But that it gets overshadowed because people want to again act like no one cares. Black people care. I mean, but
right.
Now what I will say is, what's interesting to me though is, on a different note, and this is changing the subject in a way, is someone shoots up a school, and then they're not. How is that ever really fixed? It never really is. Like again, there's been shootings and Trump has been in office, and all he was is let's arm the teachers. Let's put more guns in the classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 is an issue. Instead of trying to figure out some way to keep kids safe and at home, instead it's like, no, have them go back out. If they get it, they should survive. They're young. What?
Mm-hmm.
What if? You don't know. So
I agree.
But sorry, I mean, I just don't like. I don't want anyone to try to go black on black crime is not handled or
right. No one
addressed.
Says anything.
It's addressed. People talk about it, but it's not put on the news
right
in a national forum. Like local news might bring it up or something, but it's rarely.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Even when stuff happens in LA, people come out, all the local leaders in LA come out and speak up against the crime and stuff. Yeah, you're right. But I guess I just don't see it on that level like you see when it's someone else, like the big marches and you know what I'm saying, all the stuff on the news. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Well, it's when the big marches happens, you've got people from all communities, who are behind the Black Lives Matter movement. And that's more about police brutality, because you would think you'd be able to control what's going on better within your own community. But if the police are killing you and other people are killing you, it's all, like, who can you go to?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how I
know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. All right. Yeah. All right, people. That's our show. Thanks for checking in with us. It's the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur Smith. Again, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. It's ISENT Group Digital. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Everything will be in the description below. The email is rptalktruth@gmail.com. And I guess that's it. I guess
one thing I would like to at some point also include within our little thing is call just a section where we go debunk it. And debunk something
that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Let's do it. Yeah, guys. So that's it. It's the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur Smith. We'll see you guys soon, and we'll be back on the couch soon, too, as soon as these cases come down. Like I said, we're just trying to set a good example. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday. I've been traveling in the town a lot. Oh, yeah. And quick shameless plug. I have a TV show premiering next Wednesday on Vice TV, Donk Master. Make sure you guys check that out if you're listening. That's going to be a really good show. One of the hottest racial shows to hit TV. That's what people are saying. Hope it's true so we can get season 2. You know what I mean? So check that out, guys. Thanks in advance for checking that out. And again, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for checking in, Smith.
You too.
I'll holler at you later.
All right.
Peace out, everyone.